In this video, we're going to review clauses 1 through 4.4 in the 9001 standard. If you have not yet, share my screen. If you haven't done this yet, you may want to go over to the YouTube channel and check out the 9001 2015 standard and how to get a copy, and also an intro to Google Classrooms. If you haven't watched those two yet, those are good video. Check out before you move on to any further with this video or any of the other videos. Jumping right in, what you'll find here is that we're starting at clause 4. And the reason that we're starting at clause 4 for this video is to get in and do some, fairly deep dives, not word by word, but we're going to be reviewing basically this starting point here in clause 4 through 10. This is where the majority of the kind of rubber hits the road here. So when we're talking about clause 1, 2, and 3, there are no requirements in there. There's nothing in there that says the organization shall do something. So we get to clause 4, and that's where you start to see shall. You start to see these requirements coming in. From the last video, you'll see that I went in and used the Control F feature on my PC machine, and that pulled up the find function. So if I close that real quick and go to Control F in my PDF browser, put in shall, it will highlight everywhere that you see shall. There's 321 shall requirements in here. Some of them are broken down. For example, this one, there's a shall in there, 2 requirements here. So let's just jump right in and get into the first few shalls. 4.1, the whole premise of this major clause section is to determine and define what the context of your organization is. So in clause 4.1, which side note, I think 4.4, 3, 2, and 1, that would be a better order. Brain kind of wraps itself around clause 4 a little bit easier by starting at 4.4 and going backwards. In that case, 4.4 is what are all of your QMS processes, what is within your scope and not within your scope, what are the needs and expectations of interested parties, and who are those interested parties in the context of your organization. So let's just go ahead and follow the flow of standard, even though I like it better the other way. But the idea really is that you have to, and let's jump right in. The organization shall determine internal and external issues. So this is a very broad word, but that are relevant to the company or to the organization's purpose, its strategy, and that affect its ability to achieve the intended results of the QMS. The organization shall monitor and review information about these external and internal issues. And then there's a couple of notes. So ultimately, here is what you might want to say, okay, we're going to start Ted's Fat-Free Donut Company. Okay, as Ted's Fat-Free Donuts, what issues internally and what issues externally do we need to pay attention to? That's a part of who we are as an organization. 4.2, it's understanding the needs and expectations of the interested parties. So I look at this as, okay, who do we want to please? And within the parameters of who we want to please, what issues are we trying to please? So let's look at getting into it a bit. Due to the effect or potential effect of the organization's ability to consistently provide products and services that meet customer and applicable statutory regulatory requirements, the organization shall do one of 2 things. One is determine the interested parties. Who are the interested parties within the scope of the QMS? And then what are the requirements of those interested parties? So who are we trying to please and what requirements are we trying to please with regard to that audience. For example, an interested party might be an employee and an employee's family, and requirements of those interested parties might be safety and getting paid on time. So that fits within who's the interested party, which is 4.2a, and what requirements are relevant to the quality management system. Now, you might have an interested party, say employees, but something that is not relevant or outside of the scope of the QMS would be, let's say, arguing about the number of vacation days they get. That you're working in a manufacturing plant, and your significant other thinks that you should get 3 weeks of vacation versus 2. That's an example of, okay, here's the employee and his or her family or significant other is an interested party, but that's a requirement that's outside of the scope of the QMS. So that's really what this is getting at. In the organization, I'll monitor and review information about these interested parties and their relevant requirements. Most of the time, the interested parties you're primarily going to be focused on in the quality management system is a customer relationship, customer supplier relationship, whether that be internal customer or internal supplier, or your customer or the end user. So again, who are you as an organization? What are the needs and expectation of your interested party? Then 4.3 is really scope. I mean, this is something that's been in the standard since the origins in 87. But let's just go through this real quick. So the organization shall determine the boundaries and applicability of the QMS to establish its scope. So in determining that scope, you have to consider external and internal issues, requirements of interested parties, and considering the various products and services of your organization that your organization provides to those interested parties. You should apply all the requirements of the standard. So there isn't an exclusion that's allowed in this standard. The word exclusion doesn't come up, but if there's something, let's say, for example, you outsource all of your HR or IT, you would want to state what process within your organization is internal versus something that's outsourced or out of scope. The scope of the QMS shall be available and maintained as documented information. Basically, this is something that needs to be written somewhere that others can review. And this scope shall state the types of products and services covered and provide justification for any requirement in the standard that does not apply to your scope. Okay, so that's for 4.3. We get into 4.4, which is what are all of your QMS processes? So you shall establish, implement, maintain, and continually improve a QMS, including the processes that are needed and their interaction in accordance with the requirements of this standard. The organization shall determine the processes needed for the QMS and their application, and shall, and this is where you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 additional requirements bundled in here. So how do you determine the inputs and outputs of each of these processes? How do you determine the sequence and interaction, criteria and methods? What resources are needed to effectively operate those processes? Who's responsible for what? How do you identify risk and opportunities? How do you evaluate the processes and implementing any changes that are needed? How do you pivot? How do you adjust when a process isn't working as you expect? And then how do you improve the process? And then 4.4.2 says, to the extent necessary, the organization shall maintain documented information to support these processes. So that gives you discretion, to what degree do you need to have documentation in order to make sure that your processes are operating effectively. And whenever you see maintain, think about that as instructions, procedures, process flow charts, checklists, that sort of thing. So to the extent necessary that you deem necessary within your own organization, you need to have those types of documents, and they need to be maintained, updated, always using the relevant version, the latest and greatest. And then when you see retained documented information, retained is an early signal here in the standard that a record needs to be retained. So to the extent necessary, the organization shall basically have documented information in form of procedures, etc., and records. And the records need to be kept to the extent necessary to make sure that you have confidence that the processes are being carried out as planned. So one of the things that I think is really beneficial in the student manual is this slide here. So the idea here, this really, let me make it a bit bigger. This really sums up in one of our 12 tools. This is actually tool number 1. So if you go over, haven't learned anything about the 12 tools yet, you can come over here and go to concentricglobal.co/consulting. So this gives you a little bit more of an understanding, this page on our 12 tool methodology. And in short, what we have here, yeah, so here are the 12 tools. And the idea here is in tool number 1, this is where we really want to kind of satisfy 4.4. So going back over to 4.4, short, 4.4 says, what are the processes that make up who we are? What are the business processes that make up our QMS? 4.3 is getting into the scope. So you might have a little scope statement down here that says something like, we manufacture and design widgets for automotive and aerospace. Here are 2 locations, and here are the processes at each location. So that's really going back to 4.4. What are the processes that make up who we are, and who are we, what do we do, and where do we operate? So that's really summarizing 4.4 and 4.3. 4.2, let me zoom back out here. 4.2 is really, what are the needs and expectations that are applicable for those that we're trying to please? And who are we trying to please? So you could use something like a little diagram like this to define, okay, well, we're going to say we have 11 categories of relevant interested parties. And that is anywhere from the end user or internal customers, sister plants, support sites, even employees and contracts. And then for each of those relevant interested parties, you could come up with a list of, okay, well, in terms of employees and contractors, what are the needs and expectation of those interested parties that we're trying to control? Safety, security, and a great place to work. Maybe that's it. This tool actually goes a little bit further and goes to, okay, is that an internal interested party or an external? And then what is the impact to the customer? So, you know, some organizations will, I was auditing a company months back, and they had pages upon pages upon pages of documentation, and, you know, over a dozen, maybe a couple dozen documents to define really the requirements within clause 4. And you don't need that. You can do that with a simple 1-pager just to show, here are my processes, here's the scope of the QMS, here the interested party we're trying to please, and here are the needs and expectation of those interested parties. That could be a 2-pager. That could be one document that's 2-sided, and you'd be good to go. So that's really it related to clause 4, and it's a rather short section, pretty concise, and it really mirrors the environmental management system and safety management system almost verbatim for between the different standards. So hopefully that was of benefit.